You know, me and vodka don't get along like that. I got a bad T-shirt from F and vodka too. I had to stop wearing it because sometimes I had a T-shirt on. I'm like, nigga, I'm representing F and
I
vodka.
don't even like
I like vodka. I drink rum all day. I have a cup with some rum and pineapple in it. I did a show. What's going on, y'all? Wait 1 second. I'm just. I do my people to know when I did my big sex love relationship show with the motorcycle club, stuff like that. If somebody's assisting me, they know in my room I like to have Malibu rum, pineapple juice, and give me some solo coffee cups. So because I don't drink before a show, I may drink something at it, but I don't drink before a show, before I perform ever. All my shows where I drink before I perform.
Right.
I did that one time. The first time I did Spike's night, and did I ever tell you this story?
No.
I gotta say, y'all here. What's going on, y'all? This is a special meet the. It's a impromptu edition because I had to talk to the man I call. He interviewed before. He's the most gracious man in comedy I know. Him and Chris Spencer, they like neck and neck. And Royal Watkins and Dave Arnold, but all those guys and Rodney Perry is like a guru. But I now call him. I've deemed him the Iron Man of comedy. We're gonna talk about why today. This man is die hard. Full. But I had when I first came here in 2008, the door opened up. Tony Spies asked me to. I said, hey, I'm ready to just jump back into comedy now. I want you to manage me. I ain't trying to manage nobody. We got, he had Don D.C. Carey, but he said, you know what, me and my wife talked about it, and you grind so much that I think we can work with you. He was pretty much saying, since you do your own work,
right?
And he gave me opportunity to host. He said he was starting this Saturday night thing. I'm a branding person. I said, let's call it Saturday Night Laughs got a chance to do it at the, is the Comedy Union the only mainstream black-owned comedy club in LA? End Zones?
I don't know if it qualifies mainstream, but it's
the closest to the other.
It's the J Spot, but I don't think the J Spot is active now.
Right.
So it may be the only. But there's less than 10 black comedy clubs in the country.
What?
Yeah. Black owned.
Actual separate comedy club. And Nate just opened one too, right? Is he
opened a beautiful club up in Tacoma? So you got Nate, you got the guys in Memphis, which they own a club in Jackson. That's 2. Damon Williams is working with one in Chicago, but I don't believe that's black owned. Right. There's the Uptown Comedy Corner in Atlanta that is, I believe, majority black owned. There's the Atlanta Comedy Theater, which is the urban club, but it is not black owned. It's very few black owned comedy clubs in the country.
Well,
there's a club out in San Antonio, Texas, that's black owned too.
Long story short, ends owner of Comedy Union, and I'm doing the Comedy Union joint. I think Spike came to one of the first 2 shows when it was just like blazing. It was like the Saturday nights. It was just hot. The first one you were there because you came up and said, mind if I get a little stage? I was like, don't you host here? Why are you asking me? I was like, ain't you the man? So you came up on stage. We had a ball that night. Second night, I don't know everybody in LA. And if I don't know you, personally know you, like I'm from Baltimore. I've talked to Monique before, but I don't know her. Like I'm not. Oh yeah, I know Monique. Then you see him say, "Hey, Monique, and Troy, don't you know? Yeah, Monique. You? Oh no. No.
My cousin went to high school with her though.
Right. My brother was. Remember Dell? I know Dell. Like I'm his little brother. So
right. She'll hug you.
Yeah, I liked him. So long story short, Spike is there. Spike is outside. I don't know who Spike is. And we talking and stuff. He said, yeah, man, you need to come by. Why don't you ever do my night? I was like, I'm just really getting here. He's like, Monday nights, you come by. And he said about D-Ray hosting and all this stuff. And I was like, cool. And he called me one time. It was, Spike is always, motherfucker, you think you this and that. And he called me on the phone. I was like, who is this? He's like, it's Spike. I was like, oh. I was like, dude, I just don't know. I don't know. Right. So I get to go there. I go to the night. and it was just a lot of shade. And D Ray was hosting, and I was like, "Hey, D Ray, what's going on, Spike?" I introduced myself. I'm that person. He was like, "Oh," and went on talking to the girl. I was like, "Oh, maybe he didn't hear me." So I tapped him again. I was like, "Hey,
definitely be that dude." Yeah.
Yeah. He was like, so I go that night and I'm drinking before I go up, and I do my thing, and I think the audience is feeling whatever, but I'm drinking.
You ain't drunk.
I ain't drunk, but I'm. It don't take. I'm a lightweight. I got buzzed. So, but I'm swagging. I like to go on stage with a certain amount of energy in my stomach, anticipation, excitement. And when I'm drinking, hey, what's going on? I'm talking to people. So I do my thing, clap, this, that, other. And when I came off stage, D Ray was lighting into me. Not so overtly, but by the time I got back to my seat, I was like, yeah, he even did a Ray Charles impersonation, like he was Jamie Foxx or something. And I'm like, is he like talking? And D Ray's show, the way he hosts the show, D Ray could be up there just talking for 45 minutes in between acts. And I was like, what in the world? Then Tony called me and said, yeah, Spike said you were doing great for the first 15, 20 minutes. Mind you, you know how much time we usually get.
You get 15 minutes, you should have been finished.
Should have been finished. And they just let me go. So it was, so I think what it was is that, for one, I was infringing on stage time, but nobody gave me no lights, no.
Did you not know what a light was, maybe?
Oh, no, I don't think, I hope I wasn't that nice. I was up there doing it. I might have did a special. Maybe it was me. Maybe I cut into it. D-Ray's like, nigga.
But if that's your first time, you may not have known what a light was.
No. I mean, it was my first time here. I've been doing the shows in Baltimore. So, right. So I knew, and the light and the, they got the flashing light up there. It sits right there.
On the wall.
So I saw it. Yeah, I saw when they gave me the light. I know when I get the light, I got 1 minute, 2 minutes, whatever. And so it wasn't that. I just think it was just the air of the show. And maybe I went on there, certain places you go. But Tony Spies got on the phone and said, Spike said you didn't do as good as he thought you was going to do. And he tried to give you more time. And I was like, yeah. I said, I'm going to go back there and I'm going to light into it. And I kind of sat back and I was like, that's not what you're here to do. You're here to set your lane and do that. I don't know how I got on that topic. Anyway, thank you for taking time out, brother.
Yeah.
This is very. I wanted to take time to do something a little bit different. We always hobnob, we have fun and this and another, but I wanted to take time to do something a little bit different because you, as your hat says, and you got to read it backwards. You got to read from the bottom up. He is actually a veteran too, a real veteran, but you made it through COVID-19. Mm-hmm. And that's the second time I done looked up and your ass was in the hospital on live. And we had just talked about, so what happened? How do you know how you contracted it? And was it something you got?
Well, this is the deal. So it's almost a month and a half from now, ago. I was feeling like flu symptoms, chills, fever. I had chills, fever. I had crazy diarrhea. And so I'm a vet. I go to the VA. They test me for COVID-19. I test negative, right? I go back home and I'm like, cool, I'm negative. I'm good, And so I'm started to feel better. I've been taking some medication to get the chills and fever off me. I was feeling better. And I go out. I'm meeting my buddy for drinks. I go out. I'm sitting there drinking. I mean, I'm actually by myself. And then some random people came and sat at my table. And so I'm sitting there talking to them, and I believe one of them people infected me. I believe that, but I don't know that to be a fact because the following day I got the symptoms again. Chills, fever, diarrhea. This time my medicine at home not working. So I tough it out through the weekend. Monday morning, I get up and go to the VA again, and they test me again. And there's a different type of test too. There's a test that returns the result in like 7 days. There's a test that turned the result in like 7 minutes. So they gave me that one. And so 7 minutes later, they came back and said, yeah, you're positive, and we're going to check you in. And they checked me in, and I was there for 14 days. And the coronavirus wreaks havoc on your respiratory system, so your lungs. And so some people get to go home. There's degrees of it. And I was on probably not the most severe, but the mid-severe case of corona. And so I spent most of the time in there, getting medication. I was heavily dehydrated because of the diarrhea and things of that nature. And 14 days later, I came home. But coming home was kind of the beginning for me, man, because once I got home, the damage had been kind of done to my lungs. So like little stuff I couldn't do, like I couldn't walk across the room because I would be so winded. And so they sent me home with oxygen, a nasal cannula, and an oxygen machine. So I came home with that, and that's how I functioned the first few days. And then I started working on weaning myself out. I have a little apparatus I use to kind of strengthen my lungs. And, you have little milestones. First, you walk across the room, and oh man, I was able to walk across the room and cook without my oxygen, being assisted. And then I said, okay, well now, let's see if you can go up the stairs. Whoa, you can't go up the stairs. The stairs was whooping my butt, and so I did that for a few days, and then I can navigate the stairs. A few days later, now I can navigate 2 flights of stairs without being winded at the top of the stairs. So, and just yesterday I got on my bike and rode 4 miles. So it's like a process, and they monitor. I have this little apparatus. It monitors my blood oxygen level, and so there's a couple of ways. This is one of the ways they track like your ability to breathe and how much oxygen you get to your brain is with this. I don't know if you can read that. Yeah. Right now I'm at 99, and 99 is huge. When I was in a hospital, I was like at 88, which is horrible. That.
So where should your blood oxygen level usually be?
It should be somewhere between 90 and 100. Like you sitting there right now, you're probably at 100, 99, 95, 96. Just as a healthy person breathing. Right. But when you're sick, especially with COVID, it diminishes that ability, and which affects a lot of other things. It affects your kidneys. It affects your brain. It affects your other bodily functions. Because
you cut oxygen off the brain. Once the brain starts dying off, everything starts breaking down. Yeah. So, all right. Now let's go back a little bit. Did you have any pre-existing things before? Let's go back before the stroke. Did you have any pre-existing things? Asthma? Any heart issues? Any? Well, you said you had checked your blood pressure. Did diabetes, blood pressure? Did you have any of those things?
No, I'm not diabetic. I was a cigar smoker at that time, which if you smoke anything, that's a risk factor.
Right. This is pre-stroke. This is not.
Yeah, and a doctor would check your history, your family history. My dad died of congestive heart failure, but I wasn't sick. My biggest issue with the stroke is that when I was diagnosed with hypertension, I kind of didn't do anything. You know what I mean? So
before the stroke, you were diagnosed.
So 5 years before I had my stroke, I'm diagnosed. I take the medication. The medication immediately affected my libido, and so I was like, I'm not taking this shit. I'm not taking it. And nobody want to walk around their house as Mr. Softy. So,
and your wife's like, it's all right, baby. It's all right.
Yeah. It took 5 years for it to catch up to me and be a problem. And so, I tell guys, a lot of guys deal with the same thing. You just got to consult your doc and go back, because there's other medications. Like if lisinopril don't agree with you, they got other forms of medication that lower your blood pressure without lowering your erection.
Right. And the other thing is you said something very key. Well, you're a veteran, and I tell everybody this because this is something with my pops. My pops died in 2010 from acute leukemia, but before that, he was laying in the bed, not moving, getting up. He was suffering from depression too, and his wife was like, "He just stay in the bed. I know he's sick. The whole bed is like wet." And then he had to crawl down the steps. When he got to the hospital, said, "Yeah, some fluid in your lungs, but we're more concerned about your body not producing blood." And that's when they did the tests and found out he had leukemia. But if you're a veteran and you can go to the hospital free, carry your ass to the hospital. That's one. But I really wanted to hit on this because as Black men, and as society as a whole now, this whole 7-day work week thing is normal for people that don't even do what we do and keep the hours we keep and do all that. I slowed down a lot 8 years ago, going on 9 years ago, because my daughter was born, thank God. But if it wasn't for her, I'd have been trying to hop on somebody's tour every other day or doing my own thing or traveling, So that kind of life you live. Plus you had family. You went, and at one point in time, you was doing I think you was almost doing like a Martin Lawrence. You were doing movies, Monique show, comedy tour around the same time. Probably at the time you would
give or take. I mean, the Monique show was over when I had the stroke. But I mean,
well, when you got diagnosed with hypertension.
Yeah, around that time. And the reality is, man, I mean, everybody's searching for a reason why. And I mean, could it have been my schedule? Could it have been, I mean, to be honest, for my own psyche, comedy is kind of my mental solace. So I'm at my calmest when I'm working. And
right.
And so, I don't think that contributed, but maybe, going up and down on planes, all that affects it. I mean, I had my stroke in Denver, Colorado, which is, the highest altitude in the United States. And so the altitude could have affected me, because I worked a week before that in Charlotte and I was fine. So it's a lot of things, but I mean, everything happened for a reason, so people, are calling me like Iron Man and stuff like that. But, I mean, I think God just tries to get your attention sometimes. And he might need you to sit down. He might need you not to go and take that gig and take care of you even in the meantime. I mean, I didn't lose no money. I mean, my family was taken care of. I had some friends step up, give me money and stuff like that. And so it was a real wake up call in terms of that, the lessons I learned. And with Corona, I mean, it's affecting so many people, and you would be naive to think you're not gonna know somebody that's been affected by it. I may know more people than most, because people, once they know you caught it, they reach out to you. It's like a club. So it's a few of us.
Right.
And people get it and don't tell nobody. Like me going
The
live,
Rock. What made me really want to also sit down with you also was the fact that The Rock just came out. He said we're on the other side, so I just want to let everybody know me and my family were him, his wife, and his 2 young daughters. So his 2 young daughters, he said they wrote it out like it was nothing. Him and his wife got hit a little bit, and he said who he got it from. He said we're still loving him, stuff like that, but we don't know. He's like, I'm just telling everybody.
Kevin Hart just came out and said he had it for a period of time.
Right. And he didn't say anything because he said he didn't say anything because Tom Hanks said something and he didn't want to.
Tom Hanks is more famous.
Seemed like Tom is more popular than him, but which I'm sure a lot of people are. And then some people are asymptomatic, so they're carriers. And I think, in my opinion, since it's been around since 2019, I think everybody is a carrier. And so I think the antibodies are in everybody, and it's going to affect us accordingly. But I wanted to get your flow on it because it seems like and with the climate we're in now, for those of you who are watching this, first time me and Rodney interviewed, it was pre-pandemic, pre-uprising, pre-NATO. It was everything. So it was everything. But now, just in your overall psyche of what you've seen in the past 5 years with what's going on now, and just being a Black man, how did it affect? I like you said something while we were just talking off camera. you said never in the midst of any of the things you went through did you think you were going to die. And I believe the same thing. I believe people that are going to pass away, I believe God is like, okay, look, let me talk to you for a second. This is what's about to happen. Because there's never been one person I know that passed away, and I know a lot of folks that passed away, unless it was something where they was doing something stupid and got killed or shot, or just an innocent bystander got killed.
Right.
Or I don't know anybody that was in the midst of something like that, illness or sickness, that didn't know they weren't going to be out of here.
I'm down the home stretch.
Yeah. They start talking different. You know, like you seeing all the stuff on chat with Baldwin, and that brother had, you know, he knew, and the people around him didn't. So his movement was different. But to think about, you know, and I was going to say it anyway, but I'm going to say it now. There was a point in Chadwick Boseman's career. I was like, what is Hollywood doing with this guy? I'm like, James Brown, you know,
Jackie Robinson, Marshall. Yeah.
Like, for one, they had to shoot him differently because, you know, Thurgood Marshall's tall.
He's the biopic guy. Yeah.
Right. Tall, light skinned, and a boxer. He's not a small dude. He's never been a small dude. So I'm like, man, what is he just? And when I heard he passed, I sat down because I came here in 2008. He came here in 2008. Now, he was very direct, but you think about what somebody does in the span of 10 years.
He had a hot 10 years.
A hot 10 years, but only him and God knew it was going to be his last 10 years. So we can never judge somebody else's journey. And I wasn't hating on him. I was just like, damn, this brother is going to be, no, this is his life's purpose. He's showing something. He's giving us a message, and he's moving forward. I don't expect you to be out of here no time soon. The only thing that's gonna kill you is like a paper cut or something. Like,
I got 30 on something.
It's gonna be something stupid. He was like, he got bit by a mosquito. He got bit by a mosquito, man, and fell in the water. What water?
You know? Your bathtub. No,
right.
but I mean, life is so random, man. I mean, I remember when I was going through my rehab process with my stroke. I met a guy, and he was also in rehab. He had a stroke, but his stroke was brought on by a bee sting.
I've heard that.
He got stung by a bee, had an allergic reaction, caused him to have a stroke, and he was learning how to walk and talk when I met him. And I was like, yo, that's crazy, you know. And so anything could happen, man. I mean, you can eat right and have a great, you know, do everything right and you slip in the bathtub and bust your head and die. So, you know, you gotta live your life.
I've had that happen to a friend of mine. Played football, Keon Copeland. Actually, he was in Atlanta. He played with the Atlanta Falcons for a while. Keon Copeland. We went to school together, came up together in Baltimore, and I got to know he was outside playing with his kids. His son or something slipped and hit his head on the car. Football player, playing all his life in the NFL college. He slips, hit his head on the car, goes into a coma, gone.
Wow, crazy.
He's 2 years young, and it's been a while now. I don't know. I don't even know if he was 40 at the time. But
wow.
Yeah. So going forward now, what's going on with Rodney now, 2020? What excites you the most about what's happening now, and what changes, if anything? Because you were already doing certain, like I said, you had kind of a healthy regimen. You want to bike ride. What things now do you do more readily? Are there any changes you made to your diet?
I'm still in the midst of recovery on some level, you know,
from COVID.
And so that's part of it. I bought a stationary bike, one of the Peloton series. So I got a bike in the house, so I'm able to exercise rain and shine. And that helps with your blood pressure, your heart rate, everything. And so that's a good thing. So I'm excited about that. And you know, I'm excited to get back to work, man. I mean, this pandemic has been really tough for those of us that tell jokes, because I don't know about you, man, but I've been doing this 30 years. I've never been off stage 90 days plus. Like when I had my stroke, I was back on stage in 45. So this thing is another thing. And so I've taken a few club dates, and you know, a lot of my friends, when they first heard I was sick, they're like, "Oh, you got to stop doing them clubs." I'm like, it didn't happen at a club.
It wasn't nowhere.
You know, I mean, because when you're outperforming, you take a lot of precaution for
Right.
dealing with people. And so, I mean, the long and the short of it is, man, if it's your time, it's your time. I mean, the only the good thing, if any good thing, one, drawing closer to God, and two, seeing the outpouring of love. I talked to my friend who's a pastor. I'm like, do you think it would have been better for Chadwick if he had allowed us to pray for him or with him? And when he went to the scripture where one and two of us are gathered, then God is in the midst. So it don't take 1,000 people to pray for you to have prayer. And
Right.
so, but I know firsthand when people see that you're sick and start praying on your behalf, that makes a difference. And I've seen it more than once. If I were to get it sick again, I might not get nobody on that show up though. So I'm trying to stay well just because of that.
You think it'd be like the sneezing more than twice? You're gonna chill. You gonna bless you. Chill, bless you.
It's gonna be right.
Playing.
He gonna.
You're like, go ahead, man. Walk away. Get some water. You ain't gonna give me enough to bless you. So no. I think there's a there's a purpose in everything, but I think with you the way you've carried it, like I said, there's certain people, and like I said, Tony Spires, I mentioned him earlier, but that's what I was talking. That's why I mentioned that whole story at the beginning.
I gotta talk to Tony. His birthday is coming up.
Oh, I gotta hit him up too. I'm glad you mentioned it. But Tony, I mentioned it because he said, Troy, you're gonna do good because you remind me of Chris Spencer. And I was like, my style? He said, no, and I get it. People like yourself, me, Chris Spencer, Royale, even Dave Arnold. I say even Dave Arnold. Love people. Even Dave Arnold. Love people. And you can tell because they're open. You cats have been so open. And you may not realize, because I don't always talk to everybody all the time. But I watched you guys before I ever started doing any vlogs on Facebook. Before I ever got into the Facebook thing, I watched what you, Royale, and David Arnold were doing. And I had chances to meet Chris Spencer. Chris Spencer's the first one that gave me a chance to do my type of show on Valentine's on a Tuesday night on a comedy I see what you're doing, Troy. I love what you're doing. I'm going to put you up at the beginning of Tuesday nights at the Comedy Store.
Oh, wow.
And give me half an hour. You know what I'm saying? To interact and do. And he's like, and afterwards I was like, okay, it felt good. The crowd was fun. And, some other people there were talking to me. He said, what can we do to make it better? He came to me and said, what can we do to make it better for the next time you do? And I was like, man, so when people say, oh, people in Hollywood funny and people can't, I believe you attract who you are.
Indeed. Agreed.
And so outpouring the love that you see is just reciprocity.
I'll take it.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's just reciprocity. And I'm thankful you're here. I'm about giving people their roses while they're still alive. I don't have no roses here.
Good, because I don't need it.
Start reaching up. He's like, Troy, where's this coming from? Right. I just wanted to say from my heart. No,
I didn't know this was a date.
Right. How did this become that?
Me and Troy had a date the other night. He gave me some roses.
I was watching. I had to say that. This off topic, but I was watching Vlad. Did you see the Lunel interviewed Tiffany Haddish on Vlad TV?
No.
So I guess Vlad had. I've heard it before where he's had somebody sit in for him, but he let Lunel interview Tiffany Haddish on Vlad. So it's on YouTube. It's a good interview. Check it out. But in watching Tiffany, she talks about why she cut her hair and just and seeing her go through that experience. You've been around 30 years. You've seen a lot. You're friends with people like Kevin. You're friends with everybody in the industry that I know of. I mean, if anybody don't like Rodney Perry, I'm looking at him side eye like, what'd he do? Like, he just
no. What's wrong with your ass?
Yeah. That's exactly. Somebody should pull him up. It's like, what'd he do? Now I got some dirt. Did somebody say, well, Troy did this? He's like, yeah, that sound like Troy. But he's still a good person.
Right.
But who have you seen, I guess, over the past 5 years is a long time in comedy. Because think about where Kevin Hart was 5 years ago, or even Tiffany Haddish was 5 years ago. Who have you seen that really is impressing you with the way they're going about their career, the choices they're making?
I mean, a lot of folks, man. People like JB Smooth, Tony Roberts, I'm a big fan of. Some of the internet guys are really interesting to watch. This kid Desi Banks is really interesting. He's got a business acumen. He's had some ups and downs, and he navigates it well. He's just become a father. I like that kid. And then there's people that you had never heard of. Benny Pitts, young comic. He was here in Atlanta. He moved to Vegas, and he's really making his way. And it might take him 15 years, but he's gonna find it because he's funny. So there's so many ways to skin a cat, and in this game, you fall in love with the journey. Thing, if you can embrace the journey, you're already successful.
Right.
When I had my stroke and I had some real conversations with God, right? And I remember like asking him, I'm laying in the bed, I'm like, what am I to learn for this? What you want me to learn? And at that time I was still in a wheelchair going through my rehab process. And God was real clear, man. It was like I was listening to his voice. And he was like, what do you want now more than anything? And, I spent my whole career trying to get out to the big success, the success I saw Cat get, the success I saw Kevin Hart get. I was going for that. He said, yeah, but what do you want right now? I said, well, right now, I would like to be able to walk. I mean, I like to take a single step. And he said, that's what it's all about. You've been trying to do all that, and life is about the step. Because if you can take one step, you can take a million of them. And
something in here is not me. It's not me.
That's the revelation, though. I mean, Troy, as we navigate this life, we try to get so far out. But if you can break life down to its lowest common denominator and take that step, and that's coming from a man that couldn't take a step at the time, and it was life changing because of that.
It was, the greatest thing about God and living life is to me is confirmation. The things when you're talking to God, and He's like, you guys show me you here with me. And when you're an entrepreneur, when you step away from, I'm from Baltimore. When I came here to California, I'd never been here before. In 2008, I just getting a roommate and say, if I could do it there, I should be able to do it here. If it's in me, I should be able to make something wherever I go. And what you just said was so much confirmation to something that I got when I interviewed you. Is right after I started Meet the. You figured this one. And no event, you was before, but now you episode 69. I thought it was gonna be a female, but sometimes life does crazy things. But it just the fact that what you said, God asked, literally, it was like, God, what am I to do next? Because I felt like, you're at that crossroads where you feel like something big is gonna break. But it might not be tomorrow, but you feel like you're on the precipice.
You're in that space. You're in the space.
You're in the space. You feel like what is it going to be? I got so many things in the fire. What is it going to be? And he said the same thing. It was like, well, what do you love? What do you like to do? What do you love? It's like, man, what do you want to do? It was like God was saying, what do you want to do? And at a time, and it's so real. And I was like, well, I love doing the interviews and sitting there. I love people. And what I think it is God tries to get us to the point where we realize that He is our source. And the feeling that we get from, if it's paying rent, being a family man, having the females, having the cars, stuff like that, He's like, I'm your source. So the feeling that you're trying to get to when you have that accomplishment, I'm that.
Right.
And if you trust me in that, I can do whatever else. Because I can take something else you're not thinking about and make that fulfill that need.
I always say, a few years ago, everybody was hot on The Secret. The secret. If you could think about it, you could will it into your life. But the reality is that's not untrue, but it's not the whole thing. God can give you things that you can't fathom. So you can't think to say it. So all you got to do is have a little bit of trust, and he can take you the rest of the way. You know.
In 2 John,
First,
it was gonna happen.
Rodney.
In 3rd Jude.
I know what, my eyes are getting bad though. Like I had LASIK done over 10 years ago, and I think it's finally giving out. Like I was trying to read the Bible a couple of days ago.
But that's from the oxygen deprivation. That eyesight has to do with oxygen deprivation sometimes too.
You think so?
Yeah, because you said it just started happening probably what in the past during the time you really noticed.
Before now though, it could have been happening.
Like it's called deterioration, so it could. You might need glasses, but I don't think your eyes are leaving you. Yeah. But you wore glasses before, and you had LASIK 10 years ago.
I wore glasses, had LASIK, and didn't need no glasses. But they say LASIK doesn't last forever.
But that's a damn good run, 10 years.
Oh, it's over 10. It might be closer to 15 or 20.
Yeah.
Because I was working at KJLH when I got the LASIK.
So what things, like I said, what things now? What are the things now that excite you, that you're interested in doing, that you found out you have a love for? Because like I said, you hit the nail dead on the head. If people would trust in God, and some people, whatever I'm talking about people to trust in God. So if you were to trust in God to fulfill the thing that you're trying to chase, understand He's your source. He can take something you never imagined that would fulfill it all, and that's what I'm starting to realize when it's that. So, what is the thing that excites you most right now?
Great question. What excites me most right now? Business. I've always kind of prided myself in being a decent businessman, negotiating stuff, but I've never really learned business. And so now I'm taking some steps to really learn business, and not just, my own makeshift version of business, but, or the comedy business, but business in general, and getting involved in investments and stuff like that. That's like really exciting to me. But, I also acting, I've always, dabbled in acting, and, when you're a comedian, you get those opportunities. And what I realized early on, if I got in a movie or TV, people would come see me live. But it was always as a means to an end. And now I want to act because of the love for acting versus getting people to come see me live. You know what I mean? If that happens, that's okay. But, you just want to be good at, if you're going to embark on something, you want to be good at it. And so I did a movie that's coming out in this Christmas with Eddie Murphy and myself, Lunel, a bunch of great people. So I'm going to be in Coming to America 2, which is a big deal. And I'm super excited about that. That's coming down the pipe. And what's crazy, Troy? Like, this pandemic has created a space coupled with the COVID-19 where I've been literally in the house for the last 30 days. And I've been really enjoying my home, and when we on the hustle, we grind, and we, you might be out, weeks, 4 or 5 weeks straight. And now you're just going, oh, I never really looked at that. What color is that? Did we paint that? My wife like, yes, we painted that. You remember that?
She remember every drop of everything. It's like, did you know we had crown molding? It's like, since we moved here. I
didn't care. And now I'm going, oh, that's dope.
You're not the first person I was watching a live, and I think Little Rel was talking to Niecy Nash. Congratulations to Niecy.
Getting her lesbian on.
Huh?
Getting her lesbian on. She says she's not a lesbian. Bisexual. She just loves who she loves.
Right. She bi or tri or paleo. I don't know all the terms anymore. That's another show.
She just loves who she loves. She's fluid.
Love who she loves. She what? You said she for the people?
She's fluid.
Yeah, fluid. That's what sapio mean, right? Sapiosexual, something like that. I don't know what
they lose me sometimes.
Shout out to you, Nisi, and all your beautifulness.
Yeah. Beautiful person.
Yeah, she was talking to Little Rel, and they both said the same thing you just said. They was like, you know what? I'm enjoying my house because 30 years, and you probably had runs where you were home, of course, home less than you were out on the road. Meaning that coming home, it seemed like you coming home on the weekends.
Bags, yeah.
Right. So yeah, that's a blessing in your family. Yeah. And you got some college grads and some more stuff now, don't you?
I mean, I got, when you got 6 kids, you got everything.
How old is your youngest?
My baby is 10. She'll be 11 in November. So I got 31, 27, 25, 19, 17, and 10.
It always scares me to think when I can have a friend who's at least my age. You might have me by a couple years. But when I have friends that's my age, and I remember
40s?
I'm 45.
I'm 49. I'll be 50 in September.
Oh, this month. When's your birthday?
Couple days, 9/15.
Oh, what? Happy early birthday. We supposed to set this for 9/15. No, sorry. But yeah, I just how do you, and I'll let you boogie after this, because you really blessed me on something. You confirmed a lot of stuff. Oh, wow. And there's a lot of purpose there in this interview today. I hope it blesses some other people like it blessed me, but really taking a beat. I think this whole time of pandemic and COVID and everything has been a time where God has been telling us to chill. He's been telling us to rest. But there's a part, even biblical, when it talks about entering the rest of God. And there's a life Sabbath. I read a book years ago that changed my life called The Rest of God, Reestablishing the Sabbath. It's by Mark Buchanan. And I think when God said, all right, chill, he just walk away. The whole world is like, the whole world shut down. I try to ask people older than me, do they remember anything like that? They're like,
no. Oh. Not in your lifetime.
Billionaires just as scared as folks that are homeless. They might have more, but everybody's on the same level.
Right.
And I think we're in an amazing time right now. But your youngest, I want to talk about this, your youngest, and I'll let you get out of here. How do you parent your 10-year-old now? Are they tremendously spoiled, or have you been able to maintain, because you change, of course, but have you been able to, is the 10-year-old spoiled out? They pretty much get away with anything? Or
well, to let my children tell it, absolutely. But what happens to you as a parent, first of all, me and my buddy talked about this the other day, is that I'm glad we were young parents. So I'm at 25, I got kids already. Like top, right. like over 5 or 6 years old. So that was a good thing. And I was able to have a first drink with my daughter, and we sat at the bar when she turned 21 and had a drink, her first, and my son, I shared a cigar with my son, we sat there. So because I was a young parent, I was able to do certain things that maybe some of my other friends that have just started to have kids may never get to do. And right. So as we navigate this child, she's 10. One, she's a lot more tech savvy. Like, she's on her iPad. She knows how to download stuff. She knows what apps are. She's drawing, she's creating in that space. And it's really interesting. And I think, if you're kind of not hurting yourself, it's not as big a deal. Now, when you're a young parent, everything is a big deal. Like, oh my God, it's you, and so you so I don't think you become less strict. You just have seen everything. So it's not that big a deal. And right. You learn that through parenting other children. So the better question is how much I failed with the other kids to get it right with this one.
Is the oldest doing all right? That's what it should be asked. We asked about the youngest. How's the oldest doing? How's the 31-year-old?
The oldest is probably in a crazy house.
In therapy right now.
Yeah. As we speak.
As we speak. Rodney Perry, brother, show me the book. I love the T-shirt. Is that T-shirt on your website too?
No. I sell these live sometimes, but this shirt is not up. And the book is Rodney Perry, Moments on My Journey. It's on Barnes & Noble, Amazon, or you can hit me on my social media at Rodney Perry Live, or Rodney Perry, the website, and I can send you an autographed copy of that book. But it's like $14.99 on Amazon. It's $20 if you get it from me, because I got some shipping and stuff attached to it. But other than that, man, yeah. And I'm always working, man. I got a show on Sirius that's gonna start in a couple of weeks. It's called That Joker's Wild. That's coming down the pipe, and I'm super excited about that. And getting back on the road, tell some jokes, man.
And Coming to America 2.
Eddie Murphy, Arsenio Hall,
right? The biggest blockbuster of the year when they decided to release it. Let
me tell you something. I've been in some movies, right? I did a movie called Johnson Family Vacation, did like $50 million. I did a movie called Medea's Big Happy Family, did like $50 million. I still get checks from the movies. If this one hit, Troy, they saying this movie might do Wakanda numbers. So if this movie do $100 million,
you gonna start directing, Rodney?
I'm already directing. I'm doing the directing thing this month. I don't know if you watch Humor Meal, the Humor Meal.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
No, I'm sorry, not Humor Meal. A Comedy Hype.
Yes.
Comedy Hype has a series they call Somebody You Should Know, and I'm directing like 8 of those.
Awesome. We gotta talk. I gotta find out what's going on. I might actually. Yeah, we gotta talk. Because, like I said, this is episode 69. Before the week is out, I got 75. So I want to sit down and talk and look at the options I have. But I'm trying to fill that space. Y'all getting the scoop. I'm filling that space that Charlie Rose and Tavis and some other people left. So I've been wanting to fill that space for my lifetime. So that's what I'm trying to do now to get. And this has helped me get my chops up.
You're already doing
it. Yeah. I'm just trying to keep my nose clean of any sexual proprieties that could take this sex stuff and taking people out. Like, he's like, what happened to Tavis? He in his dressing room. Oh, he snuck out the back door. No offense to Tavis, I don't know where you at now. But I was like, where's Tavis and everybody? Charlie Rose was just on the news one day like this, and next day he just.
Hey, everybody like vagina. It's been taking people out for years. I just watched a great series called The Morning Show. Have you seen this?
I haven't seen it. I thought it was a movie.
It's on Apple TV.
This is one with Reese.
Jennifer Aniston, Reese Witherspoon, Steve Carell. It's basically the Matt Lauer incident, but it's a 10-episode series. Man, excellent.
Netflix? Oh no, you said Apple TV.
Apple TV, yeah.
Oh man. Yeah, we got to talk I got a powwow with you when you got some time to just chop it up, have a meeting.
Yep. Yeah, I'm down. Whatever you need.
All right. Y'all, Rodney Perry, check him out. RodneyPerry.com. Rodney Perry Live. Well, you can check him live on Instagram. Rodney everywhere. We're gonna get some of these Survivor shirts. I need some of them Survivor shirts.
My boys, I gotta put a 2 on it now. Survivor 2.
You got 2X. You gotta have all kinds of numbers and formulas on it. Nothing else. Lord bless Rodney.
Well, you know.
All right. Love you, brother.
He already did the blessing.
Big time.
I'm still here. Otherwise, if he hadn't the blessing, I wouldn't be talking to your ass. I'd be
later. I'll be looking at the backdrop like.
Man, remember he had that backdrop. Hey man, I appreciate you, Troy.
All right, love you, bro. Talk to you soon.